Hello children! Have you ever seen the cycle moving on the road? When driver wants to stop it, he applies the brake. By this way, the cycle gradually slows down and finally it stops. Do you know which force is responsible for this reason? I am Bindu. And today we are going to find out the reason and also shall learn the chapter Friction of Physical Science from class 8. Points to learn. Definition of friction. Types of friction. Example of friction. Factors affecting friction. Increasing and decreasing factors of friction. Advantages of friction. Disadvantages of friction. Keywords. Friction, static friction, sliding friction, lubricants, ball bearings, drag, fluid friction. This is the mind map of friction. We walk on the roads without falling. But we tend to fall when we walk on wet surfaces. Let's find out the reason. We walk on the roads safely because of the friction between the feet and the road. But the friction is less when we walk on wet surface and so we tend to fall. Frictional force or friction arises when two or more bodies in contact move or tend to move relative to each other. Actually, it is the resistance to the movement of the body over the surface of another body. It acts always in the opposite direction of the moving body. This force is produced due to the geometrical dissimilarities of the surfaces of the bodies, which are in relative motion. Friction can produce the following effects. Friction opposes motion. It causes wear and tear of the surfaces in contact. It produces heat. Types of friction. Friction can be classified into two basic types: Static friction, kinetic friction. Static friction. The friction experienced by the bodies which are at rest is called static friction. Example, all the objects are rigidly placed to be at rest on the earth. Kinetic friction. Friction existing during the motion of the bodies is called kinetic friction. Kinetic friction can be further classified into sliding friction and rolling friction. When a body slides over the surface of another body, the friction acting between the surfaces in contact is called sliding friction. When a body rolls over another surface, the friction acting between the surfaces in contact is called rolling friction. Rolling friction is less than sliding friction. That is why wheels are provided in vehicles, trolleys, suitcases, etc. Some of the factors which affect friction are given below. Nature of a surface. Moving an object on a rough surface will be difficult. But we can easily move it on a smooth surface. It is because friction varies between the surfaces. Weight of the body. It is easy to pedal a cycle without any load on its carrier. With a load placed on its carrier, it is difficult to move it because the weight on the carrier increases the friction between the surface of the tire and the road. Area of contact. For a given weight, the friction is directly related to the area of contact between the two surfaces. If the area of contact is greater, then the friction will be greater too. A road roller has a broad base, so it offers more friction on the road. But a cycle has the least friction since the area of contact of the tire with the surface of the road is less. Increasing and decreasing friction. Area of contact. Friction can be increased by increasing the area of the surfaces in contact. For example, brake shoes in a cycle have to be adjusted so that they are as close as possible to the rim of the wheel. In order to increase the friction. using lubricants. A substance which reduces the frictional force is called lubricant. Example: grease, coconut oil, graphite, castor oil, etc. The lubricants fill up the gaps in the irregular surfaces between the bodies in contact. This provides a smooth layer, thus preventing a direct contact between their rough surfaces. Using ball bearing. Since rolling friction is smaller than sliding friction, sliding is replaced by rolling with the usage of ball bearings. For the same reason, lead shots are used in the bearing of a cycle hub. Advantages of friction. Friction is necessary for our day-to-day activities. It is desirable in most of the situations of our daily life. We can hold objects in our hand due to friction. We can walk on the road because of friction. The friction between footwear and the ground helps us to walk without slipping. Writing on the paper with a pen is easy due to friction. Automobiles can move safely due to friction between the tires and the road. Brakes can be applied due to frictional resistance on the brake shoes. We are able to light a matchstick, saw clothes, tie a knot or fix a nail on the wall because of friction. Disadvantages of friction. Friction wears out the surfaces rubbing with each other, like screws and gears in the machines or soles of shoes. An excess amount of effort has to be given to overcome the friction while operating a machine. This leads to wastage of energy. Friction produces heat, which causes physical damage to the machines. Fluid friction. In science, the common name of gases and liquids is fluids. Air is very light and thin, yet it exerts frictional force on objects moving through it. Similarly, water and other liquids exert force or friction when objects move through them. The frictional force exerted by fluids is called drag. The frictional force on an object in a fluid depends on its speed with respect to the fluid. The frictional force also depends on the shape of the object and the nature of the fluid. What you have learnt? Friction opposes the relative motion between two surfaces in contact. It acts on both the surfaces. Friction depends on the nature of the surfaces in contact. For a given pair of surfaces, friction depends upon the state of smoothness of those surfaces. Friction depends on how hard the two surfaces press together. Static friction comes into play when we try to move an object at rest. Sliding friction comes into play when an object is sliding over another. Sliding friction is smaller than static friction. Friction is important for many of our activities. Friction can be increased by making a surface rough. The sole of the shoes and the tires of the vehicle are trended to increase friction. Friction is sometimes undesirable. Friction can be reduced by using lubricants. When one body rolls over another body, rolling friction comes into play. Rolling friction is smaller than sliding friction. In many machines, friction is reduced by using ball bearings. Fluid friction can be minimized by giving suitable shapes to bodies moving in fluids.